It's taken us a while, but we have finally joined the air fryer revolution.
Yeah, I think it took us a while. We're quite skeptical about new gadgets in the kitchen, and I think also we're quite slow adopters. We don't really kind of jump on trends. We kind of tend to wait and see what the reviews are and see what the general consensus is of consumers. So it did take us a little bit longer than some, but we do have an air fryer now and we have the Cosori, and I have to say it's been a bit of a revelation.
So for me, it's been really surprising just to see how quickly it started to compete with the oven.
Yeah.
And all the things that we're actually beginning to use it for.
Yeah, I think that that's part of why I was skeptical. The name air fryer almost implies that we're going to start frying a lot of our food, and we actually don't have a lot of fried food in our diet at all. So I think for me, that was one of the things I was just thinking, well, why would I need an air fryer? Because we don't have a lot of fried food in our diet, so how much are we going to actually use this thing? But actually, it's really started to compete and take over the use of our gas-assisted oven. So that has been really interesting to see.
The first thing that we use the air fryer for, which is what I think everybody does, is we've made chips and French fries.
Yeah.
They came out fantastically well.
Yeah, they were delicious.
They use a fraction of the oil and they taste really authentic, and they do actually taste like proper French fries. Then we started to use it for our lunches. So we started warming up quiches, spring rolls, pies, that kind of thing.
Cornish pasties.
Fantastic, delicious. And that works really well because this Cosori's actually got quite a small compartment. So you're only having to heat that small amount of space to actually warm something up, as opposed to cranking up the big oven to try and do the same task.
Yeah, especially for our lifestyle where we're potentially in and out of the house. So sometimes we spend a lot of time working outside. So if we are doing that, it's really nice to be able to just come back into the house at, 12 o'clock, put something into the air fryer like a quiche or a pie. And because you put it on the timer, you can just go out and carry on with your jobs and know that that's cooking and going to be nice and hot for when you come in, but it's also going to have switched itself off. So it's not going to burn and continue to cook and dry out. The design is very nice and slick. It feels quite compact. The footprint on your work surface, I would say, is around about the same size as two single toasters side by side. But what's really nice about it is because it's not very tall, it will very comfortably sit in your work surface underneath an overhang of a cupboard. So there's plenty of space there. And it just feels quite nice and tight. I don't know why that is, but it does. And the drawer that comes out gives you a nice space as well. So I think that my only reservation was that when we were looking at air fryers, was that a lot of people are now starting to move to these dual air fryers where you've got two compartments, two separate compartments, so that you can, for example, do like put sweet potatoes on one side and salmon on the other, and then have two separate things. And so I was kind of thinking, oh yeah, actually maybe that's a better idea, having two separate compartments so that you can do different things. But I actually think that now that we've lived with this one, which is a single drawer, because it actually gives you a bigger space, it actually offers you a lot more versatility because you can actually do a lot of different things. So I actually think that the single drawer for us is better. So for example, if you had two separate drawers, that's two quite narrow spaces to be able to cook in. Whereas with a large single drawer, you can do something like we did, like a roast chicken.
It definitely gives you a lot more flexibility. And what I really like about this air fryer is that it comes with a lot of pre-programmed modes. So if you want to cook steak, chicken, veggies, if you want to reheat stuff, if you want to do French fries, you basically push the button, put the food in, press start, and it basically pre-programs and sets everything for you. I don't know if other air fryers have actually got this, but the crisper tray that you put into the drawer of this particular air fryer, for me, that's where the magic happens. So when you actually put things like spring rolls or the actual French fries in there, that air, when it actually moves through that drawer, allows things to crisp up, and the fat actually drips to the bottom of that tray, so you're actually not getting any of that excess fat.
Yeah, and I have to say, one of the things I absolutely love about it is just how easy it is to clean. One of my biggest pet hates, one of the things that I absolutely detest doing in life is cleaning the inside of the oven, especially after we've had a roast or something really fatty and oily. God help us if we've had like a roast duck or something. So when we've actually used the Cosori for example, the roast chicken, I was thinking, oh, this will be interesting to see how we clean this out. My goodness, it was such a piece of cake. You pull the whole drawer out. I soaked it in for literally 10 minutes in some hot soapy water, because of the Teflon lining, it just literally comes out so easy. You just wash it with a very soft sponge.
Yeah.
Don't use anything scratchy. Please don't use any scratchy pads or any, the copper things, nothing like that. You do not want to be scratching your Teflon. It's lethal. So we just used a nice sponge, cleaned it out, and then I went back and I thought, okay, is it going to have sprayed all over the inside? So I kind of looked and I inspected the top and the bottom. Not a drop. Absolutely pristine and clean. I was so impressed. I couldn't believe it. And I said to Mars, okay, that's it. I can't be doing roast dinners again in the oven. If it's just the two of us doing them in the air fryer, oh, what a piece of cake.
This air fryer connects to the Wi-Fi and it connects to your app on your phone, so you can do any number of things from there. You can actually pre-program all of your meals from there. You can't start your meals from the actual phone. Even though you can pre-program it, you still have to push the start button on the unit itself, but it will send you a notification when your food is cooked, and it's also got a large library of recipes.
Yeah, we have kind of tried to experiment a little bit. I think when we were doing the French fries in the early days, we were experimenting to see whether we could, increase the oil that was recommended or decrease the oil that was recommended. And to be honest with you, I think we've pretty much found that what the book or the recipes tell us is the ideal amount of oil is actually what works. So for us now, we are not really deviating away from that too much, and we're sticking with what they're telling us is the right amount of oil, and we're getting the right results with that.
Great point, because we actually did experiment with the French fries one time where we put no oil in at all. They came out really, really dry.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is that you only have to add 1 tablespoon of oil, which is not a lot, and those French fries just come out perfect.
I think because of the simplicity of the design itself, not only does that make it really easy to clean and also aesthetically pleasing on the counter, but also I like the top where the buttons are. It's just really flat and easy, but you can really, everything's very touch sensitive, but not too hypersensitive. So, just pressing the buttons is really nice. It's just really intuitive. It just doesn't feel complicated. It just feels very simple and easy to use.
We're beginning to use the air fryer more and more, especially when it comes to heating up our food, purely because that drawer and compartment is so small. That's all you're actually having to heat up. So from an energy efficiency perspective, it's so much better just warming that drawer up as opposed to trying to heat up your entire oven. It varies from food to food, but I think that it uses about 30 to 40% less energy and electricity than our big oven.
Not only is it nicely designed, it's sleek, it's black, it's compact, it's aesthetically pleasing, but also it just feels very durable. The drawer, when you pull it out, it feels really nice and solid. It's not too heavy, but it's certainly not light, and it doesn't feel rickety or like anything's going to start to fall to pieces. And I think that that's just testament to the fact that it does come with a 2-year warranty, and it definitely feels like it's going to be lasting for a lot longer than 2 years. For me, I just think I've been very impressed, and it's exceeded all my expectations. For us being an open plan kitchen, the real estate on our actual work surfaces is I'm quite picky as to what is left out permanently on those work surfaces that we have to see all the time. And I was just kind of thinking, is it going to be one of these things that A, is ugly and takes up a lot of space and never gets used? Or is it going to be one of those gadgets that we kind of use for 2 or 3 weeks and then ends up back in a drawer or in a cupboard and you just never ever use it ever again? We've all had those gadgets over the years, haven't we? And you kind of find them after 5 years time and you think, oh my God, I've got to get rid of this thing. Why did we get it in the first place? And I have to tell you, that has absolutely not been the case. And I've been really, really happy and surprised it hasn't been the case, because it's almost kind of changed the way that we cook a little bit. And I think it's just going to be really interesting seeing what else we can do and experimenting.
For me, I've just loved the versatility of this air fryer. It just allows you to do so much. And in order for you to evolve that experience further, you kind of get additional accessories. So you get little skewers to make kebabs, you get a little silicone tray to make egg muffins.
Yeah, they're really great. And a cake tin and little pizza tin. There's lots of different things that you can get, and that's just really just going to help us be more creative and kind of branch out and experiment with different things. So overall, we would definitely recommend. In fact, we've already had friends and family who knew that we were reviewing it, who have been keeping tabs on us saying, have you finished your review? What do you think? Is it good? Is it worth buying? They're really eager to find out what we think of it, because it's one of those things that will be coming up potentially in the Black Friday sales. And yeah, we have recommended it already to relatives. And I think that it's just one of those tools that really would be highly beneficial to all households, no matter where you are in life or what you're doing. I think that you will find this really useful.
So a big thank you to Cosori for sending us this dual blaze air fryer to try out. If you've got any questions about it, please leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on our next video.